And good day, creators. How you guys doing today? So today is going to be the first test of the 3 clays that we've made. It's going to be so cool. I'm going to be using recycled bottles, 1.3 ounces of the clays each. I'm going to do exactly the same thing for all 3 bottles, and we're just going to see which one we like the best and how it kind of works, so later on we know what type we can use for what we're looking for. Honestly, I'm excited about this. I'm trying to make vases or like plant pot holders, but we'll see. Who knows what's going to come out of this, right? I might even make a fairy houses. Who knows? But it's going to be the test. We're going to go through the whole process, and it's going to be fun. So if you guys were following along with all of the recipes that I've have down below, definitely check those out if you want to use some of them. And let's get to this. See you guys in the next clip. So welcome back. So what we're going to use is everything you see here, just rolling pins for our clay. We're just going to use some glue to kind of keep the clay onto our little plastic bottles here. Cutters, of course. We have a X-Acto knife. Always try to be safe with these guys. Always try to be safe. Remember that. We have our little spatulas here. I have a metal one and a plastic one, so we'll see how both of those work and which one I like to use with that. We have a little punch hex right here. Got this at Joann's actually, so that was pretty cool. I might be using that on the bottles, but I'm not sure if it will work or not, so we'll see. I'm thinking about that would be kind of cool to have around the edges, if you can see that. I'll get used to the camera, guys, I promise. We also have our nifty little trash bag because, you know, we do make a mess. We have our 3 clays. Oops, rolling pin is going around. We have our 3 clays. Each one is the same amount. In size-wise, it's 4.3 ounces in each container. First, we have the insulation clay. We also have the newspaper clay, and we have the toilet paper clay. So, and they have been sitting out, so right now they're room temperature, so it's ready to go. We also have just our regular everyday paintbrush. So that is everything other than a cookie sheet to kind of keep everything so that you have a drying spot. If you have little ones running around, it's always good to be able to have it portable. And of course, just something to work on. I'm just going to work on my glass cutting board here. So let's go ahead and get set up, and I'll see you guys in the next clip. And welcome back to the clip. So we have our toilet paper. We'll just keep saying TP because, yeah, like I mentioned before. So we have a little bit of this. I'm going to just go ahead and start kneading these out. And what I'm doing is just making fists and doing this, so when it goes into each other, it's not creating any air pockets or folds, what are really hard to get out of these types of clays that I've noticed. Now this is the first time that I have used these clays, so I'm super excited. It's been awesome. This, I've noticed, the longer it stays out, the darker it has been getting. So that is something you want to pay attention to while it's drying and curing. And this is just an everyday piece of glass, old cutting board. Got boiling water. I boil all my water before I use it so it doesn't have any of the extra little guys hanging around. Okay. Now the goal is to fit each of the clays onto one of these to make a pot holder, or who knows what I'm actually going to do, so we'll see. But that is the general idea, is to get each of the clays, let me keep talking and working at the same time, each of the clays equal enough so that dry equally, so we can see how the drying process goes. Yeah, it's just a little science project. Okay, go ahead. And this one has been really nice. It's not sticky. So I am just going to go ahead and grab a little of the water, a little bit of the water, and I'm going to go over here because, yeah, this does not keep it. If you're using the water bottles like that one, it comes out super fast, so you have to pay attention when you just want a little bit. Which, for some reason, I just washed my hands and not actually did what I was doing. But hey, that's why we watch me, right? Is to see all the repeats I have to do. So now my hands do have a little bit of the water left into it that will be mixed in with the clay, so that will also help with the smoothing of it. As you all know, these clays were made quite some time ago. And they're still standing up, so super happy, super happy. Okay, and this is already has a little bit of water. Let it dry a little bit. And now what I'm doing is not hard pressing it down, but I'm just kind of rolling it out to keep it even. If you see it pulling up a little, maybe add a little bit more water, just a little bit to help it not stick. See, like this right here is already starting to stick. You can also just get a paintbrush and have that handy, which is actually a really good idea. Come on, most of my ideas are like made at that point in time. We all know this. Cats does not think correctly. But it's fun though, isn't it? Just to watch. Now I'm just basically brushing it on. Maybe a little bit more water next time on this. But we're not needing a whole bunch of water, because that was not really sticking as badly. Now if it does stick on here, it is perfectly okay. It's not like this has any type of ridges. It's just an everyday wooden rolling pin. Now if you're a baker and things like that, you'll know like what sizes and thicknesses you're going to need. These are like the first time I've ever actually used the clays. The baker DNA kind of like totally skipped me. But I'm telling you, my family, they can bake. I've seen some cool things come from them. So yeah, so we'll go ahead and just spray that up, flip it over. I want to see if there's like any holes and gaps. If you do, it's pretty easy to fix. Like right now, I know this section here is a little bit thinner than the rest, so I'm just pushing easily into it, not creating any kind of bubble, trying not to create any type of bubbles or wrinkles. We can always smooth them out later on. That's the fun part about this. But we just want to try to keep it as easy and equal as possible when we start. So we don't want to redo it, right? Because we're doing this 3 times. So it's going to be 3 times. So we have our water bottle, we have our clay that seems pretty equal. While I'm touching it, I'm trying to, I'll learn the differences. I'm more, no matter what, I'm never going to learn that's like, how many whatever's it is. I just go by feel and look. If I have measuring tapes and things like that, I really do try to give you guys all the information I can, but just know it won't always be there. And if you always have trouble, do remember you have these. Always, what I've noticed, just a little bit of water comes right up. See, and I just treat it as a pancake. That's just sweet. It's sweet. I love it. I'm just so happy about this. And I'm just going to go ahead and use the container for the glue, since we're not going to be putting it back in there. And we have our paintbrush, which we already know is a little bit wet, but not much. Now you can water down your glue. A lot of people do that to help make it last longer. I'm not. I'm just going to go ahead and keep it full strength. Now this is just the Elmer's glue. I can never say Elmer's glue correctly, guys. I can't, even in school. 100% of the all glue. This is not the school glue. The school glue is more water-based, which either one, the school glue, the homemade glue that we made, you can also find that in the videos. We work on this. This is nothing special. You don't need anything, you know, spectacular. You can also just do it with the water as well. That's what's great about the air dry clays. I'm just doing this to kind of give me a little more slack. You can also take a scratching pad and kind of give it a little bit of scratching, so it kind of gives it a thickness, more of a grind to it. But I'm trying, the word is to get this as clean as I can, because they're kind of, maybe if they turn out, will be gifts, more of a thank you gifts. So we'll see. So perfect, this one here, I'm going to let it dry just a little bit so it's not too wet when we try to apply our paper or clay. Clay, we'll keep calling it clay because I want to say paper now, because, yeah. So yeah. Now this is where a ruler would have been perfect, but I did not bring one over in the move, so hey. We'll just go ahead and try my darndest to get as even as I can. I will be making a table at some point with grids on it, because yeah, cats cannot make a straight line. I have never ever been able to do a straight line. Even like eye paints and the Photoshops and GIMP, I still cannot do a straight line. It's like, come on, it's on the computer. It's doing it for you. Nope, still can't. This is like super hard to like cut. Goodness gracious. My handy dandy one. I have had this forever, and if I ever lose it, I'm going to be upset. I believe my grandma gave this one to me, so that means it's even more special because it probably was my grandfather's. Oh, see, that's kind of much better. Now, what I'm doing is just pressing down and gently scooting over, so when you're pulling these apart, you're not really damaging the cuts too much, so it's easier. You'll notice when you're going into that end of it, but it's not really cutting for me. So, handy dandy knife. So it's good to find out what's actually going to be able to be used so far. So far, all of these have been okay to make indentations, but as for cutting it, no. Yeah, all it's done is ruined a really nice edge, which all you can do, like with any clays, is you can always push it right back, roll it out, and start all over. But honestly, for our very first one, we don't have to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead. My blade's not very sharp. I have checked it. Always check and make sure you are tight and your blade's tight, because if you start pushing down on it, you don't want it all flimsy, because you can really hurt yourself. And if that blade breaks, you have no clue which way it's going to go. Jeez. And I'm just going super slow. Yeah, no matter what, it was dripping. Maybe if I got a piece of water, go ahead and crumble that up to the side. Let's see. And all I did just there was just put a little bit of dampness onto the blade, and to see if maybe that will help with the cutting, which has not yet, but maybe I don't know. But it's fun to learn. I mean, this is, honestly, this is super fun. Since I talk with my hands and we do have little ones popping up here while I do my crafting, always make sure you put your sharp and dangerous items away in some cases. Plus, it's just nicer later on so you don't have a big ass mess to pick up. I mean, come on. We don't want a mess to pick up after we just created something. Now all I'm doing is just pushing them together. This side is a lot thicker than this side. So, but yeah, I like that. It's not too bad. Just get my rolling pin out. I just damped this a little bit and we're just get that started again. When in doubt, water it out. Okay, so step one, I'm just going to set this in the middle. It does already have a crease, so I'm going to try to keep that as my baseline. I could cover the whole bottom, but I'm not sure how I'm going to do the bottom yet. And we're just going to go ahead and bring this up. If you want, you can stretch it a little bit and then pull over, like if you're doing any type of plastic wrap. That perfect example, just if you want to think of it that way. And I'm just slightly, gently rolling it. And that's all I'm going to do for a few seconds. Also, if you like, you can wet your hand just nicely and roll. It didn't go all the way around, but you know what? I can do something with that spot, so I'm good. So yeah, and right now it does have a lot of texture still. So that's what we're just trying to roll out, just that little texture. I will be adding texture to it, but I want it to be my texture. That's why I'm working on just a little plain glass. So it's pretty even. It's really bad cut lines. You do have a really open gap here, which is fine because we do have some extra clay, which is drying out, so we will put some water on that. I'm just going to go ahead, since we have this line here already ready for us, I'm just going to go ahead and clean that up. And try my best to clean that up, should I say. So I just washed out the paintbrush so we don't have any glue. It's all just with the water. And I'm just going to go ahead and brush the edges. I am going to clean this up, but I wanted to kind of keep it a little bit more water. I'm not going to pour this out, honestly. My paintbrush is clean. I will be cleaning all of this out anyway, because I wasn't prepared, as you can see. But when am I ever prepared? I need to jump into it or it doesn't happen. So I'm just wetting the edges. Later on, that will be really helpful. Pick up some of that water. That will be very helpful to kind of smooth in all of that. But since we're just doing it clean, I'm hoping that helps cut it. So, and I don't want to mess up any of this. So slightly bringing down and then sliding over, down and over. I will get this better for you guys with the cameras, I promise. That will happen. But right now I am using a wonderful, wonderful camcorder that we got as a gift, and you do not understand how grateful I am to have this thing, because I'm able to do stuff like this for you now. So yeah. And as you can see, my blade is already dry. And if I do have a lot of cuts, do forgive me. Remember, I do have little guys running around who have special needs, and I have to hold them for quite some time. What you can also do if you want to keep that line, just push up if you don't mind having that extra edge. But I'm at this point not there. Yep, it's down and down. So what would you guys like to see? I mean, honestly, I'm up to anything as long as it's not going to get me in trouble for making it. I would love to know what I should try. What should we try to make next time? At this point, I'm just trying to do something easy, simple. You know, I'm just testing it out for the first time. It's like, I'm telling you, it's like being back in preschool. You're just like, oh, so happy. See, look, I had a line to follow. And I still couldn't get it straight. But hey, it's fine. It is perfectly fine. Now I'm just going to clean up the edges just a little bit by pushing it up. And remember, guys, my word is not gospel. It's not. I have no clue what I'm doing. All of this is trial and error. Or should I say trial and fun. Pushing that down. Ooh, that's not too bad of a stroke either, but I really shouldn't do though, like I said, with my blade. So the bottom, ooh, see, that's what I mean, cat hair everywhere. Everywhere. So bottom is done. How will we do this one? You know, I'm not sure if I want to, yeah, let's go ahead and clean that up. And yeah, let's go ahead and clean that up. First, we'll just start with a cat smiles line. Ooh, and don't spill your water, people. That's not fun. Not fun at all. Not too shabby. Now I'm just pushing down, and as you can see, I'm going to have to water that down. So go ahead, and that's all I'm doing. I am losing the cut a little bit, but I'm hoping that that's not going to hurt me in the end. Okay. Now I'm just doing a little wiggle wiggle. That is all I'm doing. As you can see, I'm going to have to figure this out. Cats is going to be on the YouTube and trying to figure this out. So, yeah. And who knows what that's going to bring. Goodness knows. All those little ideas. That's not too bad. Maybe I should just use the tip. That totally messed it up. I don't know why I'm trying to make it so perfect, guys. It doesn't have to be perfect. Not at this stage. Because that's the great thing about this type of clay as well, is you can add layers to it as it dries, or once it is dry, you can add the layers to it and smooth it out, add stuff in, add stuff out. I think I've already said that, but hey. So go ahead and put that there. Now I do have this ring around the spot. I'm just going to go ahead and I was going to try to slowly take that off and keep it, but it didn't decide to help with that. So I'm just going to head and scrape that off. use my trusty thing here, not touch the edges as best I can, and get all of that extra, as much as the extra clay as I can. Do remember all of this is water based, so it's just easy to clean up. If you don't like it, soap and water, let it soak, and yeah. Sweet. Not too bad of a line. I will clean that up with some water in a bit. It is still pretty even. I like that. It did stay even. So what I'm doing is just putting both on and just slowly rolling. Just slowly doing the roll. All the way around. And that just kind of pushed in the sides a little bit, but that's fine. Okay, so toilet paper one's not too bad. I like how that rolled. I like how that worked. Now what we're going to do, what's going to happen, what is going to happen, I don't know. We have to get that hole covered, for one. Got to get this all covered. Just pushing down slowly and trying equally, but we'll see. I can never do the snakes. As you can see, it's starting to pull in the middle. I'm just pinching in. Probably let's go ahead and just restart. So I'm just slowly in and then rolling my way out to stretching it. I want it pretty thick, but not super thick. And I'm going slow just so that I don't have to restart. But once you get the hang of this, or if you get one of the tubes, you just squirt one out. Wow, that did not sound correct. Okay. Not a perfect thing, but hey, we don't need perfect. We just need it to work. So we have little, let's go ahead and, yeah, get a little bit more. Now what I'm doing is I'm not moving the whole thing, I'm just kind of stretching it out on the sides. So we have our snake, which is not too bad of a rollout. It does have a lot of holes and gaps that you want to watch out for. I was kind of hoping to get the same thickness as the first layer, but that's fine with me. So I'm just going to outline starting at the middle here, pushing down just slightly. And it falls apart. So we're just going to go ahead and loop that around. I'm going to just pinch off into the corners, kind of give that a little bit more bulk to the sides. Or any of the spots that actually need to be squished in. Now I'm just flatten that out a little bit with my hand, not too hard. Okay. Now what I'm going to do again is just slightly slide it to kind of even that out and push it into the bottle and kind of go, yeah, you'll see. If it sticks onto the item that you're using as your table, do remember just put a little bit of water. There we go. I can feel that just evening out. I wonder how that's gonna look. Oh, I hope I'm not messing it up. I do see that I need to go around all the way here because I have a crease right there. Okay. That's feeling good. That's feeling good. Got a really ugly, not really pretty, but hey, it's attaching, so that's great. As you can see, we do have a crease here. We can just clean that up. Should have got a longer brush. We can just clean that up with a little bit of water on the paintbrush. Now you can use any tool you like to straighten this out. You can, but just slowly slide. It will come off a little bit, so yeah. It's working perfectly. I love how that's mixing. I do have some little gaps here, which with the water you can just take, ooh, let's not talk with your hands, cats. I just totally gapped that. But I have like a gap right here. You're definitely not going to be able to see it. But once you get in there, I'm going to go ahead and wet my fingers down and roll out some of that so that will be filled in. Right now I'm just trying to get all those little seams to mesh into each other. As you see, it is kind of flaking off, but that's fine. That's just all the extra. But I am using a harder brush as well, so if you want to use your finger, I would suggest that, because then you can get all the little stripes, guys, if you're going for more of a smooth base. So just smooth that right out. So now we have no seam on that side. It is pretty rocky, but we can always fix that later on. Okay, this side needs to be pushed down just a bit. And I'm going to just do the same thing with the other side. Just a little bit of water on the edges, smoke that, get that in there, and then just slowly press into it and over. Perfect. Smooth that out with my fingers. Pretty cool. So now I'm just opening up to make kind of a little, just a little opening. Now this one has a little crease in the top. I'm not sure if I actually want to keep that there or not. So yeah. So now I'm just smoothing these in, kind of into the bottle. There you go. Yeah, I like how it's no creases. That's nice. Really nice. Huh, what should we do about the door? I do want to kind of keep this more of a archway, sort of. I'm just going to take my edge of the brush, and since it's kind of that already, and just use it as a little template and going back and forth. And just dry that up, even that out. And all I'm doing is just using the brush very lightly onto the sides to kind of clean that up, so there's no lines. Because do remember, this will dry how it looks, other than like the color. I'm not sure how that will. But if there's any creases, if there's any like bumps or any of that, that will stay. And then later on, what you can do is you could Dremel it out, you can sandpaper it out, you can leave it that way. You can also, just like I said before, just take another thing and just use your own fingers and level it out. So we have a little bit left, so we definitely want to use that, because like I said, we want to use all of this. So what can we do? It broke on me, but that's fine. I was trying to see if I can get it long enough to wrap around the top of this, to kind of give it a little bit of an edge and kind of depth to it. Just like I said, just kind of rolling my fingers onto it, not doing anything too pressing, other than pressing it kind of into each parts of the clay. I mean, this has been so, easy to use. The others I was not having any luck with it. So yeah, this is cool. I just press it down, trying to get it as even as I can. And the great thing about using a bottle like this, if you need to find out if you have any like uneven spots, you can do a light test and you can see right through it. Alright, so now we just have that crease I need to clean up. So grab my handy dandy paintbrush of water, paint that out. Also gives me a place to put my thumb. Now I'm just slowly rolling it. That's all I'm doing, is rolling at this point. I know that kind of beats the whole purpose of the nice crisp line that we made, but you know, like I said, it's me. It's never going to be what we planned in the first place. But that's what makes it a creation. Now slowly just in circles. It's always best when doing anything to go in circles. You get an more even outcome to something. And when you feel this, you'll feel which way you kind of need to go. Because at the same time, you want to go with the clay. And if it dries up, just add a little bit more water. There you go. It's probably a little bit too much that I was expecting, but that's fine. It's flying at me, guys. But that's alright, because like I said, I can use the extra stuff that's rolling off with the fingers to fill in these gaps. So yeah. And now I'm just going around, picking up all that little loose fibers. try not to mess up too much. All I did was wet my hand, so it's very light. I don't want to start pulling this up with my fingers. Yeah, I don't want to start pulling it up with my fingers. I just want to smooth it out with my fingers. Ooh, this bag looks terrible. Oh, I'm so happy I turned it around. Oh. No, I'm wishing I had more clay. But that's fine, because like I said, we can just smooth it out and work our way around. The roof, or the last part that we put on, was much thicker than any of the other pieces we've added, so we can always just keep sliding the clay over into the spots we need it. But do remember, the more water you add, the longer the process will be to dry. And you have a very good chance it will not dry evenly if you have more water in one spot than another. Now, I'm using plastic right now because if we used cardboard, the cardboard would actually soak up all the excess water and liquid. So I was trying to avoid that for the first test. So, okay, oh, not too bad. Not the best, but hey, I like it. I like it a lot. So that's what we have so far, all the way around. The back needs to be cleaned up still. Yeah, that should help it. Now, if you didn't give yourself a clay amount to use, you can always just add clay to this. Do any type of designs you like. I'm just using, like I said, the same amount for all of these to give myself an equal chance. So, alright, this comes down to an okay. Well, yeah. That's mushy. That's very mushy right there. That will dry a lot different. So we have that one. Now what we can do is, okay, so now we have this done. It's not perfect, but it's nice. I like it. I might add some windows to it. But if it's going to be a planner, I kind of don't want to do too many holes. Maybe we'll paint them on. So that is for our first round. I don't know if I want to do any designs inside of the clay for this test. But what do you guys think? Test number one. That little guy. We can also going to be cutting this up and we'll figure it out at the end. I just wanted to give myself a little bit more areas to grab onto. But just make sure when you're checking this over that all of the edges are smooth onto the sections so they're not going to pop up off you. This, since it is air dry clay, it will shrink. So that is another test that we are going to figure out and see how this will work on this. So do remember that no matter what you use, it will shrink. The other items will not. So if you use any type of armor wood, you guys know what I'm saying. When you use it, make sure that you kind of figure that out on how the shrinkage will be, because you don't want to do something with metal and then have it later on have metal sticking out and have to almost redo your whole project. So okay guys, that's your first one.